Hey guys, hope everything's going well. Today is a last minute live stream, and today I'm here with my buddy Steve. What's going on, Steve?
Not much, Raul. How we doing?
Good, good, good. All right, you can hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yeah, I
all
can hear you
right.
clear.
All right, let's take a look at some of the comments. So, the Coos guy, what's going on? He says he's going to pump Kyle Kuzma rookie cards.
Amen.
Marvelous, yeah, marvelous packs. I'm going to pump Spider-Man metal. So what's up with that? Like, Steve, have you seen? I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of maybe collectors, some people engaging in FOMO. It just seems that a lot of people are interested in Spider-Man metal.
I watched. I was watching a live last night where somebody was opening some boxes, and I got to be honest, man. I was entertained, and I actually thought some of the cards looked pretty neat, but I don't know anything about it. The market behind. I'm just totally ignorant. But I mean, I definitely like there's a collector's market for it. I just don't know, the prices and stuff, but I watched the live, dude. It was really entertaining. I actually enjoyed it, but I don't know enough about it. Is it making its waves? Is that like the new, I don't want to call it
Yeah,
pump, but is it like the new release or something?
yeah, it's the new release by Upper Deck. I mean, those cards look nice.
They did.
Now,
They
is
did.
it worth the value that you're seeing online? I don't think so.
See, that's where I'm ignorant. I don't know what singles sell for. I just, you hear buzzwords like PMG and stuff like that. And so, you know, based off a little bit of like the sports market, like I can understand what the PMG and like why it's a chaser for that. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
makes it
yeah.
now. What would drive the market price? I don't. I'm not. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know that.
Yeah.
But the cards looked sweet, man, and it was fun to watch it. Um, but yeah, it was last night. I was watching it live. It was entertaining.
Yep. All right. Next comment. Marvelous Pack says FOMO. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I kind of bought in on like not me personally, but like just an experience. I kind of bought in on like the WWE Prism, like that train. I split a box with a buddy, a hobby box, just because I thought, what the hell? We'll both throw in on it, see what happens.
Right.
And so far, no good. Not good at all.
Okay.
It's plummeting. So I'm not here to pump that. I'm admitting my vested interest in my loss.
I'm gonna pump some Panini Donruss basketball 2021 2022.
Let's go. I'm here for
Yeah,
it.
let's see what I have.
Let's do it.
If you have some packs or cards, just open it up.
I don't have anything to open, but I'm
You don't
here to
have any.
watch. I do have some cards to pump because I do want to
Well,
show off some
what do you want to
card.
pump?
Well, like it's my personal pump, but it's like these are two big Grail cards that I was able to knock off. Like my personal list, like they're Grails for me. So you already know I love KD, and I'm gonna pump him. Whether he's looked like bad upon or not. I'm just a fan. But I finally got my. Let me see if I can get it in the frame good.
Oh, nice.
I got my 950708 Topps Chrome Refractor KD, which like this is a special one for me because I have a.
Didn't Sasha T buy that card like the PSA 10 for what 50 grand? Was that the card? Same
Th-
card?
Yeah, I'm not sure about his, but like if he did buy a PSA 10 of this, they were probably around 50 grand at one point.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude, this
the
was close to the
last
top. He went to like
yeah,
PWCC to buy it.
the last 10 sale that I saw, PSA 10, I think was right around 9 grand. Now, KD, I mean
Oh,
the
well,
card
forty
market's calmed
thousand
down.
dollar decrease. Damn.
Dude, you know what was wild is I was at a show with my old man, uh, uh, Monroeville, PA, outside of Pittsburgh. It was a convention center show and a lot of vintage and stuff. But there was a guy from out of town, and he had some like really high end cases, and he had a PSA 10 of the KD Chrome Refractor,
Yeah.
and he had it marked at like 20 grand at the time. And like this was right after the season, and like me being a fan, of course, I was like, man, can I take a look? Can I hold check some comps? And like I saw the last sales at the time were probably around 13 to 15 grand. And so even then he was like, man, I'm not, I'm not going to get 20 out of it. If you could come at like 13, and this was 2 months ago. So they've already come down even more. Like they're under 10 grand. So I
That's
found a
crazy.
9.5 because I felt it was safer. I didn't want to, I'm a PC guy. So like, I just want the card. I want his Chrome
Okay,
Refractor
there you go.
rookie.
There you go.
So like the fact that like, yeah, 10 would be great. I'm not going to act like it wouldn't be, but I'm not comfortable putting that into a card. Even if it's mine forever, I'm just not. I'm fine with the 9.5. I'm happy with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with these packs that I'm getting. Let's see what I got. Let's
I
see. I
want to
got
see,
a
yeah.
Tobias Harris card.
Man, talk about inflation. That Philly
Yeah,
contract he's got is whoo. They paid
let's see.
that man and not Jimmy Butler. Let that sink in, Philly.
Jimmy buckets.
Jim Buckets. You
That's
know
what they
what,
call.
man? He's tough, bro.
Yeah, that guy is
He's
intense.
just, I'm not like a Jimmy guy. I've never been like a Jimmy, but like the Miami fans and stuff, like y'all got a gem. He's a hidden gem. He may never win a title. He might not be that caliber guy, but dude, he is so tough and plays so hard. How do you not like that?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you remember this. So he was with the Bulls like way back. What, he got
Yeah.
drafted, what, 2011,
Mhm.
and he was on the bench, and then Thibodeau used to take him off the bench, and he just was marvelous. And then actually, I think it was Thibodeau that helped him. And obviously, Jimmy Butler's a hard worker, not to
Right.
take anything away from him, but I think Thibodeau's defense and then Jimmy Butler, with that mentoring going on. But then he went crazy in Minnesota. He like basically got to trade out.
I think
He's
he
a
got a
jerk.
I think he got a bad look in Minnesota. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't do antics to get himself out. He probably definitely did. Well, he definitely did. But I think he saw right away in that environment, like, these aren't the guys I'm going to win with. And he called him right out. And Carl Anthony Towns does have a narrative on him for being soft. And at the time, Andrew Wiggins did too. Andrew Wiggins benefited big time with this move to Golden State.
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure.
given how Jimmy is an alpha, I could see him getting there and being like, "These guys they're not cut from the same cloth."
Yeah, exactly. Here's another dude, Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon, wasn't that the dude that went to Indiana that was supposed to go to U of I forget.
He was tough in Indiana, man.
Yeah.
He was really
Yeah.
tough.
So I think what happened, like Eric Gordon was supposed to go to U of I. I know this because I knew people that went to University of Illinois. And then last minute he changed his mind to Indiana and he got like heckled like crazy at Urbana Champaign
I
at one of the
mean,
games.
Indiana is one of them. I don't know if you call them a blue blood anymore, but they certainly have a great basketball history. I
Yeah,
can't be too
with
shocked.
what's his name? Who's that coach?
Bob Knight.
Yeah, Bob Knight. Yeah,
Yeah,
throwing a
man.
chair, choking a guy.
The longer he's come like from his coaching career, the more stuff that's come out. It's like, whoa, that man was intense.
Yeah, that guy was intense. That type of coach is not allowed to coach these days.
No, no,
Yeah,
not even close.
not even close.
What
Let's
do we
look at
got
this.
now? What are we hitting out now?
Let's see this comment by Charles. Jimmy Buckets got a no bleep given attitude. He like pump it dump it. Who gives a blank? I wonder if
That sounds like me.
those rumors with Rachel Nichols are true. I just wonder.
Dude, yeah, I heard about that. That was during the bubble, wasn't it?
Yeah,
ESPN, man. I actually was noting that. I was like, you know what? Since we're pumping stuff, I want to dump ESPN.
yeah.
I'm
I don't
publicly
know how many
dumping
people
them,
watch.
man.
I don't watch ESPN anymore. Maybe
I
like the football
can't.
games. Like they
Yeah,
have Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, so I'll watch ESPN for that. But
right.
otherwise, I don't. The hot dog eating contest, I watch that. But yeah, I don't listen to ESPN
I just
Chicago
can't take
here.
anything they say seriously anymore at all.
It's all about tribalism. Like I don't want to hear tribal political stuff. while I'm watching
Man,
sports.
since we're on the topic, I'm going to say it. I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
say it.
Go ahead.
ESPN owes Aaron Rodgers and Kyrie Irving an apology tour. They
Oh
do
yeah.
big time.
Yeah, yeah, for
Big
sure. We're
time.
gonna lose viewers based on this,
I
but
didn't
well,
mean to.
I mean, like, I'm at this point, I don't care.
But dumping ESPN, that comes along with it. So I'm dumping. I'm done.
You're dumping.
I'm done.
I mean, I occasionally watch what's his name, Trey Clavis or Clay Travis. That's his name.
He's a Fox guy, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he's a Fox head,
Yeah.
but he used to run his own business, and then they bought him out.
Outkick, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
but
I enjoy him. I think he should have stayed on his own.
yeah, that's what I think because now
I don't
he's
like
at the
that.
mercy of corporate
Yeah,
entities, and he
man.
can't say everything he wants to
I
say.
just I think these guys know, like these content guys now, that like they know their value. Like they know their value and they're gonna sell not I don't want to say sell out, but they will sell out because they know what they can get. The Joe Rogan Spotify thing, I think really it's changed things. So like like a lot of these bigger content, they realize it's like, well, if I can get this
Hundreds of
this
millions of dollars,
yeah,
then
for this podcast and just for me to talk, I'll do it.
exactly, exactly. And speaking of Rogers was on Joe Rogan today. So,
Dude, oh yeah, I wrote that down. And I guess they covered that.
oh, they did.
You know
I
damn
want to
well
listen
those
to
two
that.
talked about it.
Yeah, I mean his podcasts are too long. That's the only thing. If he just like
It's tough.
makes, yeah,
Some of them are tough. It's a
ex-
lot to go through.
exactly.
But for him, for that conversation, I'd listen to that one
Yeah, I
all the
listen
way
to
through.
I listen to something like that.
Mainly because it's like a platform like ESPN is just showing how anti-journalist they are. They're not sitting down with Aaron Rodgers to have a transparent conversation about this.
Like,
They just got the mob going, and it was like, oh, he's a bad guy, and he deceived people, and it's like, I mean, if
yeah,
that's your take, okay, but you didn't even have the conversation with the guy. You don't know all the context and complexities.
yeah. The thing is that you have to remember when you get sponsored by entities, you have to be careful in what you say. So it
Mhm.
may be in their own interests because they're getting paid by certain sponsors to bash. And
Yeah.
they may think it's good for ratings too, even though
Yeah.
it's probably not. That's why, being divisive, I don't know if that's the way to go. If you're
And that's
trying to make money, for me, I'm
right.
not trying to make money. So I speak whatever I want to say.
Right.
you know, I'd probably tell you, if I wanted to make money and sponsor, I'd be like, dude, you can't talk about this.
Mhm.
But
And like and where the like if that situation would come up, if I could if some of these people would be at least transparent about it, like I'd be that's way more digestible. It's like, listen, we're not going to cover these things. Here's why. And I'd
yeah,
have at least a little bit of respect for that. But to like just go anti and just pick a side, anti a narrative, or you pick the narrative and you demonize the opposite, it's so disingenuous. And then, like, I'm going to go back to ESPN. I had to listen to Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon like they had PhDs, like they were doctors or some stuff. They're they're wonderful sports journalists. Great job. They've done a great job. But y'all are journalists talking about this specific thing with these athletes. That's not your
that's not
lane.
your
That
forte.
that's ESPN telling you what to say.
Exactly. I mean,
That's
remember they're owned by Disney, and Disney has been a lot different than what they used to be back in the day. And then now they own Star Wars as well.
yep.
And I think Gina Carano was kicked off of that. So,
hmm
I guess you have to be,
From
you have
what
to
I
see who the
gather,
corporate
it was
sponsor is. And
yeah.
I don't know if you watch Geeks and Gamers, the Sports
Mm-mm.
Wars guys on YouTube. No, but they trash, Disney all the time. So, it is what it is.
I'd probably listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
All right. But like going to this topic of how we can relate to sports cards and the content out there, you have to look at, okay, there's content creators that get paid by individuals. I don't have problems with sponsorships, but then they don't cover the hitting issues, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you're talking about ESPN, you don't like them. It's just like, we have the ESPN of the hobby here, and they keep their lips shut because if they speak up like me, who isn't backed by anyone, maybe I have AdSense revenue coming in, but that's nothing,
That's not
right?
really tied to the hobby, though.
It's not tied to the hobby. It's not like political talk where I have to be careful what I say. I could say whatever I want here.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, like, remember the Don Diego situation? Whether or not she did the shilling or not, that's not the question. But just asking her the questions.
Shout out Ziggy.
Yeah,
Shout
Ziggy,
out Ziggy. Yo,
man.
shout
Like,
out Ziggy, man. My man. I heard his video today though. He said he's gonna be backing off of some card content stuff though.
yeah,
But
I
my
think
man's been going
I think
hard.
some people probably had a conversation with him. I think he said that he got an interview with Dr. Beckett or something,
I
or
can't
he did
remember,
some
but I think he
podcasting with
something
him.
about business, some business situation that he's either going to be involved in or whatever. But
Oh,
good,
okay, yeah. So,
congratulations, man! Congratulations, Zig. I hope the best for you, bro. Good luck with everything, and I certainly enjoyed your your content of late. I
yeah,
just because it's
yeah,
genuine.
I think he was just on fire, and then like now he has to like back off
And
and
you
be
know what's
careful.
sad is he's probably gonna get a lot of like, oh, he's a bad guy, he's a hobby watchdog, this and that. And it's like the guy just gave his opinion, and to be honest, it was really fair. I don't think that makes him some watchdog. I just think it's
Yeah.
like he's the guy who's actually willing to state it.
Yeah, the thing is that a lot of people are thinking things, but they don't say it out loud. He's a guy, whether or not you agree with him, he's
Right,
just speaking what he's thinking. And
right.
I appreciate someone who's a little more honest because we live in a society where you can't speak your mind, right?
It's just
For
yeah.
like people are scared of getting canceled, people are scared of being called a this or that. And I'm like, dude, I grew up in the 90s. It wasn't like this in the 90s. People just said whatever the hell they wanted to. And back before that, it was much more worse. So, we grew up in a time of MJ. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I'm a little older than you, but not by that much. But there's just some much different time than
I,
today.
I always say that when I talk to friends and peers and stuff. It's like, man, I grew up in the 90s and things weren't as hyper polarized and sensitive. Like people could didn't it feel like conversation was so much easier then?
Yeah, it was. And now you have to walk on eggshells,
Right.
because like if someone says this or you support this or that, and like,
You know, it's a wonderful metric for this social construct conversation type. Like, look how comedy was then, and look how mainstream comedy is now.
oh yeah, for sure, for
And in
sure.
in in a weird way, they're like society's truth tellers, and they're the ones who get us all to be comfortable, come together, put our guard down, and it's like we can laugh about this. We're different. We're this or that. We can laugh about it. And it's weird now. It's
Yeah,
not like that.
it is weird now because in high school I had Chappelle. I grew up with Chappelle, and the Chappelle show was amazing. Obviously, it's not politically correct, right?
Yeah, far from it.
Far
But that's
from
what
it.
made it great.
That's what made it great because he just said the craziest things out there. And
And most of
he
us
said
thought them.
things,
Most of us
whatever.
thought that stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But
exactly.
go ahead, go
And
ahead.
I'm just thinking there's no way a Chappelle show would be allowed today
Mm-mm.
based on, what's going on. I mean, look at how people are treating Chappelle, whether or not you like him.
And you know what's weird is like the way things are going right now. Like, how is Chappelle going to be looked upon in like 20 years? Like
They'll
me,
probably find some.
you and I would probably agree. It's like, well, he's the best stand-up in our generation. Like he's our generation's Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy. Like he's the stand-up version of our GOAT. He's our Jordan. And like in 20 years, because of all this social dynamic, like how is he going to be looked upon in 20 years? Because I'll
Yeah,
be the one who's like, man, maybe things he said were risky, but there wasn't anybody funnier.
exactly. I mean, There's this one dude that we've talked about before, I think offline, like Owen Benjamin, right? So he
Yep.
he got canceled from Hollywood because of, taking it further than Chappelle. I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah.
repeat the things that he
Right.
says, but it's just that the comedy, I mean, good comedy is gone, and then all this content, I don't know.
Remember, art was like this expression. Everybody who explains to me, well, art is expression, and it's this and it's that. And it's like, well, if it is, not every expression is like geared to make you feel good. Like if it's their expression, like for instance, this comedy, like that's his comedy. That's his niche, and he's amazing at it. And it's like if you're the one who finds it offensive, then that's kind of on you. But art is an expression. So it's like it's not right, wrong, and different. It's just it is what it is. And then the marketplace of ideas takes over. And like based off the marketplace of ideas, if money is a market metric, Chappelle's funny. He's really, really funny.
His older stuff was funnier, I would say.
Yeah. Now it's
Now it's okay. It's
it's
not like
good.
on. It's
It's
good.
deeper now.
Yeah. Now he
It's a
has
little
to be on
deeper.
eggshells. That's why I don't think
Mhm.
it's as funny as it used to
Facts.
be.
Facts.
Yep. All right. Let's take a look at some of the other comments and we go from there.
This is CNN owes Joe Rogan an apology. Dude, when he had Dr. Sanjay Gupta on, isn't that the CNN health medical
Yeah.
expert guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, that was a poo show. Joe
Yeah. That
Rogan,
was
like,
interesting.
he folded him like a piece of paper. That was awesome. That was awesome.
I think some of the more intense shows were with what Alex Jones
Yeah.
and
I,
Elon Musk. Those were quite interesting.
you brought up AJ. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube
Yeah.
anymore
I don't
with
know
everything
what we
he's
can or
going
can't
through, but
say
like,
on.
if you don't like, if you don't agree with AJ, but like you can't tell me you watch his episodes with Joe Rogan or Eddie Bravo. That is just pure entertainment.
That's entertainment.
Oh, dude,
10x.
it's amazing. Alex or AJ should have been like part stand up because he's a character, man. Like
No,
if you can
I
get
I don't know.
past,
Is he on drugs? I wonder what his
well,
autographs are selling for
he's a
on eBay.
I hate to say it, but I think he's even admitted he's got a drinking
Yeah,
either
drinking problem.
issue or situation or so take that with a grain of salt. None of us
Yeah,
are perfect. None of us are perfect.
exactly. Let's go through some comments here from the beginning that I missed. All right, see what people want to pump. I want to pump my Jerome Walton and Dwight Smith cards. Okay. Jerome Walton ex Cub. 1990s Fleer Ultra 23 gold NBA parallels.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Let's go.
90s.
Let's go. I mean,
90s Heat.
I got some more cards I didn't show you. Let's see. What's his name? Markel Fultz. Okay, here's one of the dudes.
Ooh. Another Philly guy. You remember he got drafted by Philly and he like lost his jump shot?
Nah, I don't follow basketball as much as you do.
He was the number 1 overall pick and he went to Philly and like in college he was really good. He came out with I want to say Lonzo Ball's class. And Lonzo
Okay.
Ball got a lot of hype because of his family
Right.
and his dad and
Right,
everything.
right.
But Markel Fultz was the one who went ahead of him and I think he's in Orlando now. That card might have been Orlando, but he was in Philly, and it was like I don't know if he had surgery, but something was up, and like his I don't know if it was mental. His like jump shot was like gone. So you were like on a roll with this pack of cards, bro.
There's another one. It's
These are investment
yeah,
pieces.
the investment grade, right? Yeah, I'm
This
gonna
is
invest.
investments right
These
here,
are
man.
investments. People are speculating on open pack. You know what I'm gonna do one day? Remember that video that Run who's that breaker? Run something. He has a lot of subscribers. He opens these big box breaks. Sports Card Radio did a video on him the other
I'm
day.
not. I can't remember. Man, they've covered so much. I
Yeah, I
can't
know.
remember who's
A
who.
lot of scams and
And with
hanky
the
panky.
breakers, man, I don't do
Yeah,
breaks, so
exactly.
I'm like
It was
almost
a
ignorant.
breaker that said that, hey, he alleged that Steel City is weighing their packs and they're giving the good packs to some of the other breakers, but to everyone else, they're giving crappy cards.
I don't know enough about it.
Oh,
I'm
okay. You
I'm
didn't
real
watch that?
close to Pittsburgh though, so is that Steel City group that's out of Pittsburgh? Because they're pretty big
Yeah,
in
I don't know.
our neck of the woods.
I
But
don't know.
I've heard of them. I don't know enough about the break. To be honest, I didn't even know they were breaking until Sports Card Radio said something.
Oh, okay.
I just never got into the breaking thing
Yeah,
because
I didn't either. I mean, I broke once, but
when I
that's
was
about it.
young, I would buy wax, but you're young and dumb, and like that's what you do. But
Yeah.
the older I've gotten, I'm so like focused on like what card I want a PC. It's like the gambling aspect's almost gone. I say that, and I just crapping on a 2020 or 2021 Prism WWE box. It's still sealed, so maybe in like 10 years it'll have like a comeback.
Right. Jordan Mullen says, yeah, they were weighing the national packs. Okay, so that's what it was, right?
Oh, okay.
So the
Shout
theory
out
is,
Jordan, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, but go ahead. Shout out. That's my man Jordan.
oh, okay.
He's my dude.
Okay.
What's up, brother?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't mean to
says
cut you off.
allegedly they were weighing the national packs. That's what came out of the video. So the heavier the packs, so they assumed that it had an autograph in it. So they gave the less weighted packs allegedly to everyone else, and they gave the breakers who had large views the good packs allegedly. So
I mean,
what I'm gonna do,
that's
maybe I
messed
should
up.
go to the store and I should just start weighing packs to see if they have
Dude,
autos.
that used to be a thing when I was younger. And like guys would openly talk about it. Some guys, like it was weird because when this would have been like late 90s, early 2000s. And like my dad has always been a dealer. He never did wax or anything like that. He just always sold singles and stuff. But he was, he did cards on the side, and that's how I got in. But um, yeah, dude, guys, other dealers would talk about that stuff, and then there'd be like, he would be like, "Yeah, you don't do that stuff," and he never really got into it. But we would hear other dealers back in the day talk about stuff like that, and because a lot of dealers would open up their own hobby wax and like sell it from their table. So like it's not that crazy to think guys would flip through and feel. Used to feel the packs, and you would catch people at like Walmart and Target doing that stuff too. So it's not that foreign of a practice. I mean, it's messed up, but I guess
Right,
I'm
right,
not
right, right,
surprised.
right. All right, let's look at some other comments that we have. Baker Boy, good evening. Card Mover says, pump these nuts, okay.
Nice.
Charles says, what up, boss man? Let's pump some damn silver monster boxes. He wants to pump silver. All right. Las Vegas Collectible says, I want to pump up the jam.
Let's go.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
More 90s. That's some 90s right there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Charles says again, Marvel collectors are hardcore nuts, bro. I know they don't care about prices. Yeah, Steve Aoki. He doesn't seem to care. Did he buy
Man,
those biggest or those large ticket items on Golden a few months ago?
man, that guy's spending more money. Him and sports card investors spend more money. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of like they're always buying something. It's almost like to this point, it's like I just almost don't care. I mean, God bless them. I hope they wish them the best. But it's like these guys are, and that's what makes me question. It's like, are they really genuinely buying it, or are
I
they
think Jeff
setting a
Wilson. I read
setting a
his
market, or I don't know.
Jeff Wilson's company was bought out by a Fortune 500 company, so he has money like there's none other, in my opinion.
Okay, well that
So
makes
yeah,
sense
he can
then.
afford it. And Steve Aoki, okay, he's an
Oh,
entertainer. So
yeah, he's
he's
got. I mean,
loaded.
they got
Yeah,
the money.
they're both rich. Jeff Wilson goes to like Atlanta Hawks games, front row tickets. So it
Top
doesn't seem
G.
good for him.
Yeah,
Stimulates the
man. I'm not
economy.
knocking them. It's just they they spend so much money on stuff. It's wild.
Yeah. So this is your buddy Jordan. He says they say Steve Aoki is the kiss of death to any pump. When he buys in the market, tanks right after.
I trust my man Jordan, and to be honest, I don't know enough about Aoki, but it seems that way, man. It seems like once this, I'm not going to put it on Steve Aoki. I mean, that's probably could be very well true, but it just seems like these waves come and go so fast now, man. It's almost like a news cycle.
It's
And
like they're
and
acting like hedge funds, all these guys,
yeah,
influencers, they're like, "Okay,
yeah,
let's find the, uh, cheapest, valuation," not valuation, but let's find where someone's not at. They buy it up, and then they go on YouTube, Instagram saying, "Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is
yeah,
awesome." Then
man.
they get tired of it and the market starts going up, and then they go on to the next situation. Like it was what? PM Jeeves, then PMG's tanked, then they went to Star Wars, and now from Star Wars they're going to Disney. Something like what are they going to go next to? What,
I
Baywatch?
know. This Disney stuff came out of nowhere. I
No,
didn't
it didn't, because if you look
know.
at Golden had a sale of some Disney cards. So then I asked Pancake Analytics. I don't know if you know who he is.
I'm familiar. I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
of
yeah, on Instagram, and he's like into analytics. And I messaged him like, "Hey, are they trying to pump up Disney?" And then he says, "Yeah, I think that's where they're gonna go next." So then I started to sell some Mickey Mouse 1930s cards when I first found out, hey, people are gonna get into this. And they're getting into this, and some of the same guys, are buying that up.
it's so tricky with stuff like this because it's like, yeah, I do believe there's collectors markets and all these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I'm not gonna say like, of course, Star Wars and Marvel, like they have huge fan base, like Harry Potter, like they
right.
have huge followings. So it's like I don't want to diminish and say like, oh, just because it's not sports cards, and like look down upon. I don't ever want to give that impression, but
Right.
I was talking to a couple friends of mine, and just at least from my perspective, so like I don't know enough about it because I'm not in it. So, but like I'm not against Marvel cards and PMGs, but to me, what would drive the Marvel market would be like comic books. Like it has,
Yeah, that's what
you
I
know
would
what I
think.
mean? It's got
Right.
data, history to it, and
Right.
that makes sense to me. And like with Star Wars, like the vintage action figures and different like the toys end of Star Wars, I know used to be. Again, I'm not involved, so I don't really know much lately. But that, to my knowledge, was like that was the marketplace for Star Wars for a long time. And like I'm not saying there can't be these transitions to cards and that people won't collect them. It's just the way these waves and these prices come out. That's what makes me question, or just be hesitant, which is fair, I think.
Right. Right.
Because like sports cards never had like sports cards was like originally sports. They've been around like you could say there's collectible action figures and pennants for sports. So like there are other avenues, but the cards have really been the driving force in that.
Indeed. Indeed. Let's look at some other comments from earlier that I missed. Wow, there's so many comments.
Man,
Yeah,
I
this
said
is
I was gonna put up my phone to like watch the comments this time, and I just can't do it. My attention span, I just
Yeah.
can't.
John Fishman says, "I've been pumping Brad Osmus." Oh, catcher? Interesting. Manager? Okay.
Brad Ausmus, was he an Astro or a Cub?
Yeah, he was an Astro. He was a
An
catcher for
Astro.
them.
I
And
remember
then I
him.
think he managed what, the Angels at one point and the Tigers? I
I'm
don't
not
remember.
familiar with his. I just remember because I was a Bagwell fan. Bagwell, Biggio, and Berkman.
Biggio,
I think he was
Barker,
on
yeah.
that team.
Yeah, I think
I
so,
used to
yeah.
love Jeff Bagwell. There was never a better batting stance. Comments, you find me a better batting stance in baseball than Jeff Bagwell. That man,
Andres Galarraga? Did he have a
no
weird batting?
way. He
Didn't
had
he
a
have like
cool
a
one.
weird like way to bat?
He had like a weird, like he had a goofy
Lefty, right?
bath movement. Gary
Yeah.
Sheffield had a goofy bat
Yeah.
movement, but my man Bagwell sat on a toilet. He was like on a porta john and hitting 400-foot bombs. Like that's impressive.
Yeah. I see this one comment. Ken Griffey Jr. had the sweetest swing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
And me being
swing
a
is the
lefty.
different conversation, but like just
Yeah.
watching the dude bat from that low and how he could generate like with his legs so spread apart,
Right.
it was so
Right.
weird looking.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's look at some other comments. He'll have to pump soccer. Okay. All
Oh,
right.
I got to pump
Yep.
Notre Dame football too. We got a big
No.
one this weekend, next weekend.
What are they ranked?
Dude, we're like preseason 5, and it's a total sham. We're not the 5th best team in the country. We're breaking in a new quarterback and in a night game in the horseshoe. There is no way. And Ohio State's got their quarterback back and their best. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's their best receiver because they were so loaded at receiver. But that Smith and Jigba, I mean, he's going to be a first round pick. The
Yeah.
C.J. Strouds, but I mean, ah, they're going to whoop us, bro. It's going to be brutal. My brother is going to the game in Columbus, and he says, "Do you want me to get you tickets?" Somehow he gets season tickets at Notre Dame, so somehow he could have gotten me tickets. And I told him no. I said, "I'm not going, bro." I said, "I'm not sitting in Columbus watching that. I can't do it." I live in Ohio, so I'm surrounded by Ohio State fans, man. That's just miserable for me.
Yeah. I think I heard about Notre Dame in the news the other day was what Manti Te'o in his documentary. I haven't watched it yet.
I
I don't know
just
if I want to.
I just watched it the other day. I'd recommend it. It's really good. I mean, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so it's a little close home to me because when he was at Notre Dame in that 2012 season, man, it was really special to me personally for other reasons. I lost a family member that year, so like it was a rough year, and it like the football, just watching them actually win games and go undefeated and have a chance to go to a championship. It was like, oh man, it took me out of like all the stresses of life. And Manti was like, he was big in college football for a defensive player, and early in that season his grandma actually passed away, and then this he got catfished by this person out in California, and yeah, man. I, I
That's
watched
interesting.
it, bro, and I think a lot of people owe Manti an apology. Given the time and the way they covered the documentary, it really explains. Now, I granted he's a man, and you got to be accountable. You let yourself get in that situation. But at the same time, man, this person who catfished him went deep, like deep. And he's of the Mormon faith. So they're very strict in like an online dating situation wouldn't be out of the realm for me to comprehend.
Oh, okay, so that makes a lot more
You know
sense
what I mean?
after
Like
no. Okay, okay,
based
okay,
off his
okay.
faith.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense then. Okay, I'm like, wait, because that just seemed odd,
And
when
that
the story came out.
that's why I really it's good to watch the document because it really gives his life backdrop and explains. And granted, this would have been when the messaging and all that started. It would have been like 2009, 2010. So he might have been like a freshman, sophomore-ish at Notre Dame. Bro, I never heard of catfishing then. I got to be honest. I mean, we all had Facebook, and we might have been ending the MySpace time, coming into the Facebook time and Twitter time. But like to be honest, catfish wasn't that mainstream because the way the documentary puts it, it almost puts you back in that time and place. And I got to be honest, I'd have been like in just about graduating high school, and like that really wasn't a topic then.
Right, right. Makes sense. All right, let's look at a few comments here. All right, someone said that WWE Select, that's what he wants to pump. Frank Hernandez says, I love the
No
new.
WWE, no, no,
Yeah, WWE. That was already
no.
pumped. You missed the train, man.
Oh,
Man, you if you wanna pump, you gotta get in before the pump.
I don't want to put my man on blast, but Jordan in here, he's my guy who split the WWE Prism with me. We're sitting on that hobby box, just leaking.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Frank Hernandez says, I love the new Uno Ultimate Marvel cards. No one collects those yet. Okay.
I
I've
like
not heard
Uno.
of
I do
those.
like Uno. It's a fun game.
All right. Hockey 99 says, any thoughts on a new grading company in the hobby? There's so many. I think there's
Which
this one
one?
Revolution grading company. There's too many grading companies out there. Sports Card Radio is right about that. It's way
Yeah,
too
he
many.
went on a rant about, man, we're just going to start one in our basement. Like that. Those guys are awesome, dude.
Yeah, their
That
live
line.
stream was pretty fun.
Yeah, dude, they should do. I mean, I'm not gonna tell them what to
You
do,
do, yeah.
but if they did more live stuff, man, people would flock to them, dude, because they're just entertaining. They're
Yeah,
naturally like the two of the brother. They're really good, dude. They're funny.
they're fun. You
They
saw a
are.
different side of them. Like,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
just having fun, like,
Mhm.
that was just
I
fun.
watched. I was at
Yeah, I
work
watched it. I was
watching.
in the grocery
I
store, and I had
shouldn't
to
say
listen
that. I
to
wasn't at work watching.
them.
Sorry, HR.
I listen at work all the time. I just use my headphones.
Yeah.
All right. Marvelous Pack said, part of why I love smaller channel, they can say what they want and they're able to be more candid. Exactly. That's why I
Mhm.
watch his channel on
Yep.
YouTube, just to figure out, hey, even though he follows the Marvel space, it's just like, okay, I think like you and you know more than me about Marvel, but like I said, it's a lot of FOMO, a lot of hype what's going on. Even though the cars look good. I have to
Yeah,
admit,
that's
the
one thing
cars
I will agree to. I
like
do think those
Upper
cards
Deck.
look cool.
Yeah, Upper Deck did a good job with those cards.
Mhm.
And I just wonder, like, is Fanatics gonna get them, buy them out? That would be like
At this
a
point with
$1,000,000
Fanatics has
question.
already kind of like some of the stuff they've been involved with and done, like, don't they need to? Like with tops and upper deck, like, don't they need to like rejuvenate this stuff to like get things? I don't know. I'm not as gung ho happy about the Fanatics situation, and I'm not happy with Panini.
Yeah, I don't
But
like what Panini's doing, but if I were Fanatics, who would I choose and you have a limited amount of funds? Upper
true,
Deck or Panini? I would say Upper Deck
I,
because you got
me
what?
too.
Tiger Woods, Gretzky, right? And Michael Jordan. That makes more sense for them to get involved with that because Panini, okay, you got the National Treasures brand, but at the same time, you have the licensing with all these sports. So do you really need Panini? I mean, they could buy them up for pennies on the dollar, as more time passes by. So
I just find myself in my PC like gravitating towards more upper deck product and more tops product. I have a few Panini cards. I have some Panini stuff, but that's my personal bias, I guess. I would much rather collect upper deck and tops than Panini stuff.
indeed. Let's look at some other comments here. Diversified collectibles. Chappelle's autographs are expensive when you find an authenticated one. Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Did you notice that too?
Say that again.
Chappelle's autographs are expensive when you find an authenticated one.
I've never looked into it, but I could imagine it's a pretty penny. I mean, he's the best comic in our generation.
Yeah,
So I
one of
think
the
he's going to
better.
drive. I bet you Joe Rogan's autograph's pretty expensive too.
Joe Rogan signs a lot, from what I
Does
heard.
he?
Yeah, like your buddy AJ, he said that he was like on acid one time with him or drunk, and then they were just signing all these autographs in Vegas. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised.
How can we cancel these people? I mean, they're doing acid in Vegas signing autographs for people. They're awesome, man. Like, I'm not
Yeah, you
condoning
can
people
be.
doing that stuff, but it's like you can't cancel these guys, man. You
Speaking of
can't.
someone who's going to be canceled, I just opened a pack of these Donruss Panini cards that I wanted to pump, but this guy's going to be canceled. Enos Cantor. Look, this dude
Bro,
is done.
yeah.
This dude's done. His career's
Mm,
over. No team is going after him.
nope.
Nope.
Man, he took some shots at LeBron.
He took shots at MJ.
Yeah, he took shots at a lot of big names.
He took shots at China too. So I'm
Dude, his
like,
own
okay,
country. I know he's
he's
I
a
don't know the specifics, but he can't go back home.
yeah, he's a U.S. citizen now. Yeah, he can't go
Good,
back to Turkey
good. God bless it. That's it.
because
Turkey. He was
yeah,
talking
and
smack on their government. I don't know the
yeah,
details. I'm not familiar, but yeah, he's outspoken.
yeah, yeah. I think my brother told me there's this one old Turkish basketball player now he's part of the government. Turkoglu.
Hidu Turkoglu.
Turkoglu. Is he
He was
part
a
of the
magic.
Turkish government?
I don't know his
That's what he told me. I don't know. I have to look that
all
up.
I know is he's come out and said like Enos, don't come back.
Yeah, or
Like
something like
he
that.
ain't, yeah, he's not jive with Enos Canners and what he's
Yeah.
saying. But like you said, if he's a part of their establishment,
Yeah.
then he's got a vested interest. So
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's look at some other comments. Cars and comics, what's going on, man? You have some good content. So 2021 Metal Spider-Man is better than 2017 FUSM. Some YouTubers are saying that, laugh out loud. So I can't speak to that,
me
but
neither.
yeah, this is not a Marvel channel, but I'll ask some of the Marvel experts here to comment on that.
I, I want people to enjoy what they want to enjoy in the hobby. I really
Exactly.
do. And that's where it's like I don't want things getting manipulated. I want people to enjoy what they want. That's what this is about, man. This is supposed to be an escape. So
Exactly.
I don't want to, just crap on a certain genre in the hobby because it might not be my taste, but
As long as they're not like engaging in fraud or whatever.
that's exactly.
That's what I have.
Keep a fair, transparent marketplace, and I'm cool.
Exactly. 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 Let's look at some more cards I got. What, Damian Lillard? Okay, nothing too big. Your boy LeBron James. Look, LeBron. Enos doesn't like him.
No,
No way.
I'll take the Enos.
Yeah, I'll take. I bought an Enos Cantor rookie, not rookie. I just like one of the auto for like $10. No one was buying them, so I'm like,
Yeah, who else I like a lot, and I wish that man, I wish him the best of health because he's always injured. Is that Jonathan Isaac for the Magic?
oh yeah, yeah, I
He
like that
seems
guy.
like a good young dude, bro.
He does. Yeah,
He's
they're gonna
another one.
come.
He's not like outspoken, but he stands for what he stands for, which is
Exactly. Exactly.
admirable.
Indeed. It's your friend again. Bowman Fat Cats this year. Any pack with the security tag you could feel on the back almost had numbered cards or autos in. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's how we
Age.
have to shop for packs now.
I
Keep
don't
it.
know. Do they still keep like packs? I mean, I guess they have the hangers and stuff. Now, when I was younger, dude, they had the box open, and you'd have to like pick out
Mhm.
your own packs from the box if they had them. You know what I mean? If in the
Yeah.
retail aisle,
Right,
so like
right.
you could go through it and find stuff and or feel through the packs. I've never seen that. I guess maybe in the hangers you can feel them, or so. I just don't know enough about new
Right.
wax products.
Yeah, I don't know too much. Is this worth anything? Malcolm Brogdon. It seemed like a refractor card. Looks nice.
It's probably like a pulsar or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know.
Probably maybe a couple bucks.
Yeah. There it
It's so
is.
hard. It's so hard because the card might look really cool, but it's like they
It's like
print
too
so much of it
much.
right
Yeah, that's the
now,
problem.
and
It's like
and
the what 80s and 90s junk wax era. They printed so much, and then now the companies during the pandemic, post pandemic, they just want to print so much to take advantage of it.
Panini
Now,
is killing themselves on some of this stuff. The way they're printing it,
yeah,
it's just they're watering down their own markets, like what they did to their own select. Like when they 2020 football select, they
yeah,
made it retail, and it's like, man, you're watering down your own product. I mean, I don't know all the nuances and why they did it. Maybe there's a reason. As a collector, I always like to select product for one of the Panini ones, which is one of the few I actually like. And like they just watered it down. It's lost a lot of its appeal to a lot of people in the hobby, I think.
exactly, exactly. Diversified collectibles. The Marvel guys on here are pulling some fire hits out of the new Marvel Metal Spider-Man, getting extra hits and all. Might just be a QC issue, or you do Upper Deck is hooking them up without even them knowing. Yeah, I don't know. Is Upper Deck sending them boxes?
I don't know. I have no idea about any of that.
Because if
I think I know
I,
what he's talking about as
yeah,
far as like, because I was watching that one last night and I was entertained. I was like, let's go in the comments. I was yelling hot box. We used to get those in the, basketball and football products in the 2000s. You come across a hot box every once in a while. It's like, oh, we got an extra auto or,
right.
that stuff happens.
Right. I'm just thinking like the backyard bros always seem to come up with hits. Is it because they have so much product or are
Now
they
that
getting
one to
hooked up on
me,
purpose? Like,
yeah,
is
now
that just a mere coincidence? That's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, get your tinfoil hat on.
that one to me raises eyebrow. And it's fair to raise eyebrow at that one. But at the same time, and they have the right to, on their own defense, to say, "Hey man, we bust through so much stuff. It's a
Right.
matter of population. We go through so much, we're going to end up hitting some of the good product."
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Let's look at some of the other.
I'm going to pump another card real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I picked
Well,
up another Grail of late, and I got to shout out another buddy of mine for this one. This is a 2001 Topps Chrome Ladainian Tomlinson refractor, PSA 9. And I'm really proud of this one because I got it raw. I actually got it raw, and I gave it to my buddy Dan, Dinger Theory on Instagram. He's awesome. Good buddy. And he worked on that card, wiped it down, submitted it for me, and I told him, I was like, "Bro, it's gonna get an 8." He's like, "I put a lot of work in it." And he said, "I think it looks really clean now that I cleaned it up for you." And he sent it in and got me a 9. So
are you
shout out
engaging
Dan.
in the hanky if you're cleaning it and all that?
I
Are
don't
you
think
committing a hobby foul?
I
Just
don't
asking.
know. I don't know what he did. I'm not gonna put anything on him. It's my
Yeah.
card. But to me, when I had it, I took one of those, like, those cloths you get with your glasses,
Yeah.
to clean your glasses off.
So
I
I
took
guess
I took a clean one of those and just, wiped the dust off, make
dust
sure there
off.
was
Okay, so
nothing.
take the dust off. Okay, I don't think that's a hobby foul, but
Yeah, that's what I
okay,
mean.
you like to
No, I don't
alter.
think he put
Yeah,
any
okay. Oh,
chemicals or any.
chemicals. Yeah,
No.
then I like didn't one of the bigger channels that doesn't do it anymore. Like he used to like. I think he was on camera like altering the cards, and he had like so many views on his channel, and he stopped.
So,
I think
like,
I was.
what to my knowledge, like, altering the card would be trimming.
That's one of it, and then using chemicals to make
That one
your
I'm not as familiar with.
yeah, I mean, you have to I don't know what the hell people do and how they do it so precisely. And obviously, I'm not recommending people to do that. Obviously, play by
Right.
the rules. Don't cheat, right? Technically, it's fraud in my opinion. So, if you're doing all that stuff, but
I tell you what I did. I took this raw, I spit on it, and I buffed it out as best I could. That was the chemical.
that is a chemical your spit.
Yep.
Oh man, he let's see. He literally used hanky.
I did. Wow. Good call.
Yeah.
I literally went hanky.
Yep. You went hanky, committed a hobby foul. Okay. All right, let's look at some other comments. Charles says I was at the National in Atlantic City. Zero Cool Stranger Things was the most packed for 4 days than anything else. So that's probably going to be pumped.
I was just gonna say, I'm not surprised, and like, I'm not knocking it, but it's like, is that this flavor of the month?
Yeah, whenever that comes
You know what I
out.
mean? I'm not saying that there's not people attracted to certain markets and they don't get drawn in. It's just, is it is it sustainable? Is it, or is it just like, because a lot of this stuff has been a market trend for like a month and then it moves on. So
Right.
I'm not against it, man. That's a cool product. And if people are into it, dude, that's great. I'm not
Exactly.
against, the zero cool stuff.
Mm,
I know it's a
mm,
big thing. A big Isn't it a TV show? Or the
yeah,
Stranger Things. Not
Stranger
Zero
Things, yeah.
Cool. I mean Stranger Things. That's
Yeah.
the TV show.
It's like the V Friends, that was pumped beyond crazy. I mean, the shill bidding was insane, which I covered.
This is where I was confused with all that. Like, at least Stranger Things is a big TV show and it has an audience. Like, what were those doodle arts based off of? NFTs?
NFTs of Gary Vee, right?
I just I'm just so ignorant and confused where it's like, are the NFTs valuable? And if they are, what would make the card copy of it valuable and collectible? I just don't know enough about it. It's just I just don't understand it.
The counter argument was, hey, you could use those. This is a test run for Fanatics and Zero Cool for the Dutch auction, and they said it went successful. That's what some of the people, that were coming at me indirectly, they're saying, like, look, it was successful because they sold out all their boxes, and those boxes now are still more than what they originally sold for. I think it's what, $3,500
But
being
wasn't
sold
there
on eBay.
a whole
37.
bunch of shilling going on those boxes though?
Oh yeah, there was. I mean, there were boxes, going for $16,000, $17,000.
No.
Yeah, they weren't paid for, from what I remember.
Oh,
And
okay. I
then,
was gonna say,
like,
holy crap.
like Cage Lawyer, he was like playing the role of devil's advocate. Remember when he got me on, or they got me on twice. And the first time he was saying, "Well, I know someone that bought it at $10,000." He kept on saying that. So probably someone
I
bought it
do
for
remember that
$10,000.
now.
Yeah, now you do. Okay, so
I do remember that part when you guys were talking. Now that you bring it
yeah,
up.
but yeah,
Man,
yeah,
16 grand. There's, I mean, whoa. I'm just gonna be transparent. If somebody enjoys them, that's great. It looks stupid to me. It looks like doodle art, and I mean, to me, cards have to have some type of aesthetic. It's got to be pleasing. You got to like the look of it. I don't understand it.
yeah, exactly.
Probably sound like an old man, but I don't get it. I'm totally lost.
No, a lot of I lost some followers during that time because of that. Because
You,
I bashed Gary V.
oh, how dare you?
How
How
dare you?
dare you?
You cannot bash the hobby hero Gary V.
You cannot.
But then other people promoted me, like P Ryan Collection, because no one was talking about it. I was talking about it. And he's like, okay, follow AIH or something like that. So
Good shit.
yeah,
Real good
exactly. So
stuff.
this is a good question by Cards and Comics. Does Sports Car Live own part of Tag Rating? I thought he just got a job with them and vice president of development or something, or around that, along that lines. I mean, he used to do videos on what, Saturday nights.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I didn't see him doing a video tonight. So I'm like, hey, why don't I do a video right now? That's the process. But I
Hanky
don't know.
panky pumping time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We're pumping Notre Dame, LT, Katie, Donruss basketball,
Enos
Enos
Cantor.
Canners. Yep.
Who else?
Oh no! Real quick, congratulations, dude. That shout out from Sports Card Radio.
Yeah, that was
That's
insane.
awesome, bro.
That was
That was
crazy.
cool. That was cool.
They
Congrats,
had
man. That's
what? Yeah, thank you.
I
That's
was
great.
watching the that clip, and it was like they watch your stuff because the in that comment he was reading, they named a few guys, a few content guys, and then he's like, I watch AIH. He's like said it right after it. He's like that was the first name he came out with.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
so many channels he could have named them, and they named me. I'm like, whoa. I'm just a
Told you,
small
man.
channel with 1,700 subscribers. It's nothing
Dude,
big.
isn't that weird to think like it's only 1,700?
You know, I think we're talking about this, and the algorithm. People told me like they didn't find my channel because the algorithm didn't promote me, which is fine, right? Because I'm not flashy. I show $15, $20 Gretzky cards, right? It's not like the high end, PWCC golden auction cards. Even
Yeah.
though like one of my cards could probably sell on golden, but it's just quite interesting. Like, remember we're talking about last video, like Sports Card Radio, it wasn't promoted by the algorithm last year.
At all. And they've
Ziggy,
been around.
yeah, and like Ziggy's channel was not promoted, and I
At
didn't see
all.
all that. I didn't know all that drama was going on between him and Card Ladder. And I'm like, wait, until he started commenting on my videos, and then when I started doing videos on how the market is illiquid, then he started like sending me all this information. I'm like, oh, so it's quite interesting. You know how like the
Uh,
media works is the media only promotes the flashy guy or the flashy gal. They may
Maybe
say some good
it's
things, right?
it
Like,
almost seems like they'll promote who they can influence.
could be, could be.
Now, I'm not accusing everybody of being influenced. It's maybe some people are genuinely singing that tune and they'll gravitate towards that,
Yeah,
which
it
I'm
could
sure
be.
that's a big thing.
Yeah. I mean, I find it suspicious that like all you hear about is Andrew Tate. He may be saying some good things, but I don't know.
I'm
Could be.
mixed on I'm mixed on him. I think he brings up a lot of valid points. I don't think he should be canceled.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it
I
should be
don't think he should be
canceled.
canceled, but I'm mixed on him. Like, I think he makes a lot of good points, and he might have good intentions, he might not. I'm not as big a fan of his messaging and stuff, but I think he does bring up a lot of valid points. Just the way he says some stuff, I'm not the biggest fan of.
Yeah. I'll give it time. I'll give it time on him.
Yeah, it's that's how I feel too. It's almost like, eh, is this genuine? Isn't it? Like, where's this guy coming out of left field and he's gotten all this? It's questionable.
Exactly. Hanky Panky Inspector General reported for duty. So Brendan Ryan says that. So he labeled the sports card radio dude, one of them, as the Hanky Panky Inspector General on his Instagram. So that's quite interesting.
A title well deserved.
He's the IG. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. For
That's
sure.
awesome.
Diversified Collectible says, I have a Don West autograph. Seriously, I do. Okay. Interesting.
Shout out Don for his rant.
That Don that I got on last week,
Bro, that was awesome.
that was amazing.
That was awesome.
I wish he did YouTube content. He would just like light
Man.
everyone up.
Oh, bro, he has some AJ in him.
Oh yeah,
He just went off. He's
yeah.
like, you're
That
trying to
video.
tell him. He's like, no, just stop. No, no, no.
This is my Austrian business
I
school,
know,
man.
man. He went in.
That was nuts. That
I
video
can't
didn't get
top that.
monetized.
I can't top that.
No, no. All right, let's look at some other comments here.
F Gary V. It's just the first one I saw real quick.
Julio Franco was the coolest batting stance. Okay.
Julio Franco did have a cool one. It's not better than Bagwell, but it was cool.
Yeah. All right. Baker Boy says pump trump cards if he runs. I think people are
Ooh,
already doing that already. I think you were pumping his cards on
kinda,
IG.
kinda. I mean, I have one graded. I actually sent in with the LT. I
Yeah.
was gonna bring those out, but it's like you can't do anything anymore, so I didn't pull them out to pump them. I was gonna do it as a joke, but then I thought, nah, I don't want.
Nah.
I'm not doing. But yeah, I got a PSA 8 of the Playboy Trump, and I got like 3 more. I'm ready to grade to send in, and my plan is to keep them. I don't know
Okay.
what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm gonna keep them.
Okay. That's cool. Let's see what else. This is a really good. Maybe this would be a good topic one day. Card Mover says, "Is the hobby delusional?"
It can be, very much so. I mean, it. That's it. You can go real deep with that question. Like, it is a hobby, so like we're all admitting like we're collecting pieces of cardboard that we're all placing a value on. So if you just like look at the basis of collecting anything, it is kind of delusional. You know what I mean? If things shut down or something terrible happened, God forbid, what are you going to use your cards for? What are you going to do with them? You know what I mean? So
Right.
in a way, we're all putting a lot of money in pieces of cardboard and plastic. That in itself, you can argue, is delusional. So
It is. It is.
I know a lot of people who are friends of mine who would probably think like, dude, Steve's delusional. Like, he's got a X amount worth card. Like, he could have done so X, Y, and Z with that money. You know what I mean? So collecting in this hobby at face value kind of is delusional.
Indeed. So one other thing I want to get at, I don't know if we'll get in trouble for this, but so it seems that the hobby turns a blind eye to people that are at the top that engage in the hanky, or it's also you could say they turn a blind eye to women too, right? Do you agree with that?
Hmm.
Just elaborate on that.
Uh, I think the hobby's shown that it doesn't matter what gender you are. Like, if you're involved in some hanky panky, like, it can be covered up. So, but I will say this: the hobby seems way more forgiving towards women, and I've noticed this like pumping of women in the hobby. And I kept hearing these narratives. Well, it's we need more women in the hobby. We need more women in the hobby, and I think it's fair. It's like, why? I mean, that's a fair question. I'm not, and that's not like gatekeeping. Say, I mean, I've never seen the hobby as like anti-woman. I've never seen the hobby like keeping from women getting in. So this whole like social push of like women of the hobby, we need to get more women in the hobby. Well, they're proven they'll do the same hanky panky a man will do. But I do think there's a difference in like the forgiveness of it. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even say the forgiveness of it. It's like some of these women of the hobby, they just get to shut it down. Like, you don't even have the conversation of the hanky panky.
It's like so I gotta
And they can just say, not to cut you off, but it's like
yeah.
they can just say, they can lash out at a man's expense to cover up for what they need to be accountable for. And I don't think that's right. Just
So
because you're a girl, that's crazy.
so like I got this counter argument from one dude. I'm not going to mention his name. He said that, hey, look, you can go after like it was one of his friends, that um Ziggy went after, right? He said, "Go. You could go after women all you want, but there's dudes that commit all sorts of hobby fouls, and
And we
we
drag
don't
their
talk."
names through the dirt.
That's true. That's true. That's a
We
good
drag
point.
their names through the dirt. Unless there's legal pending where you can't say something about so and so and their bad practices, if unless they're
Yeah, yeah,
threatening
that's the
legal.
thing because some
So
people threaten others with litigation, so then you
right.
can't bash. So if you bash them, if you say that this person's platform may have shill bidding or has shill bidding, right? They may threaten you indirectly saying, "Hey, I know your sponsors. Do you want to be canceled?" So that's what happened with one of the dudes that I've been in contact with. I'm not going to mention the names, but they had a guest on. He was saying that, hey, there's shill bidding going on Platform X. And all of a sudden they were messaged by this dude saying, hey, get rid of this guy. Episode pulled.
I think in the hobby and society in general, it's not uncommon to find it normal to take down a man. I think it's a little bit different with women. And that's, I think it reflects like specifically to your question in the hobby. That's what I mean. I think like it's no one has a problem like saying, "Hey, that guy's a bad guy. He's doing bad stuff,"
Yeah,
and
they,
everybody
they
in their
roast
circles
them.
will run their name through the dirt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like
I
on the
don't think
message
that's the
board.
same with the women in the hobby that may or may not have been, up to some hanky panky and stuff. And the reaction is what got me. Like, you're blaming 5% of men for what you did on camera.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like, or is it just
Unless
the
they're getting
5% of people
harassing
who are willing
messages.
to like call you out and say, "Hey, we think you did this." Like, and it's, this is why we think that. So if that is what makes you a bad person for saying, "Hey, I'm challenging you on this one thing," I don't think that makes you like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
think
don't
that's,
know.
in a way, I think the way that, if you know what we're talking about in this specific one, that's ignorant. And this is
Yeah.
somebody who like, okay, if you are for women in the hobby and you are like, shouldn't you be doing better practices and shouldn't you practice accountability to show younger women? It's like, hey, I may have made a mistake or I may have done something, but this is me rectifying. This is me being transparent.
That would be
I'm
much
all
better.
about forgiveness,
Yeah,
man. Like,
exactly.
Everybody should
Exactly.
have a path to redemption. The problem with me is it's like men have to be accountable. Sometimes I don't think women necessarily have to be in all times. And you can crucify me in the comments. That's fine.
Yeah.
I put my name on it. And back to this whole like women in the hobby and this like this is a free capitalistic marketplace. If women choose to spend their money on other things not cards, I don't think that's men gatekeeping women from the hobby. Like the majority of men watch sports, they get with their buddies, they have their fantasy groups, they gamble on sports. Like it's a very male driven market. And I don't think it's like we need women in here. I think a lot of people do that as just this social clout chasing thing. Because they're not when they're with their guy buddies and they've got their collections out and they're wheeling and dealing. No one's sitting there saying, you know what, we could really use a woman right now. I just, and that's not to put down women in any way. I've been in the hobby for a long time. I've never seen a social situation. I've never seen anybody like, oh, women can't do this. Like women are totally capable of doing it if they choose not to in a larger group and they do other interests and other hobbies. That's their prerogative and their right. I don't think it's fair to like blame the hobby as this like misogynistic enterprise and entity. I don't believe that.
I mean, like I've heard stories like at shows, women are treated like trash, um, or like harassed or whatever. So that's the counter argument to what I've heard. So that's why they're saying, hey, we got to promote women to make it acceptable, for women to be here. That's the counter argument. But I mean, some dudes just get harassed too, right?
I was
So
just
I'm
gonna
just
say like
thinking, like,
this is I don't mean to cut you off, but like I go to plenty of shows. I walk into every show as a guy and I have a target on my chest with every vendor and dealer I initiate with. They want to get their maximum profit off of me. I'm being preyed upon every single, and I'm not some victim. I walk into it. This is part of the hobby and the game we play. Like I don't get any special treatment because I'm a guy.
right.
Like nobody's going to say, you know what, if you were a girl, I'd have done this to you, or I'd have get, or if you just because you're a guy, I gave you this break. Like I don't think that's maybe I'm don't look at it that way, but I just don't see those practices happening. I'm not a woman, so I've never been harassed. I've been harassed by guys at shows, maybe in a different way, not in a sexual
Uh,
way, which I don't think that's appropriate. But I've been harassed by other guys at shows.
yeah.
I mean, I've been targeted by other guys at shows. People have tried to one up on me. I mean, I just think that's part of this hobby. And I don't think it's on men to fix it for women. How about if women want to participate in the hobby, educate yourself on the market and what you collect and what you engage in, and you'll be fine. You have all the capabilities of anybody, and nobody's going to, you know, deter you from advancing in this hobby just because you're a woman. I don't see it like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, but let's read a few more comments. Maybe we'll wrap it up in the next 10, 15 minutes. Tom Bullard says, I think it's more nerd culture that keeps certain groups away from the hobby and that whole perception. Marvel MCU has helped change it some geek chic morals and ethics above all else. I don't know. I mean, I know women that are nerds too that are into collectibles. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that the hobby should be like, hey, we need to promote group X, group Y, group Z,
Yeah,
because
that's
it's like, it's every. I've seen people of all different backgrounds, people, that are women too, that are into collectibles. And, if you're into it, you're a good person, you're welcome to the hobby. That's how I view it. I
mhm.
just don't think like, okay, we need to promote this group or that. I'm like, no, I mean, that's how I view it.
That's where I don't I don't see things that way. I agree. I'm the same way. I think if somebody was ripped off in a deal at a card show or something like gender doesn't pop up in my head. I just
Exactly.
think whoever was the bad actor in that in that situation was a bad actor.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, like this money or this hobby is more money motivated. So like I think there's plenty of guys who go to shows and they get ripped off and they get targeted and they're lied to and deceived. I mean, I don't think gender really plays a role. I just think by the numbers, it's easy to look and say, well, there's less women involved and there's more men. Women are at a disadvantage. And I don't think that metric tells that tells that tale. I just think maybe on a monetary system, most women would generate their finances and economics and interests towards other things. Maybe not sports card hobby or sports cards.
But I do realize that a lot of women are getting views on like IG and YouTube if they start a channel. So
Duh.
they
Yeah,
get it. They get
certain
advantage.
ones too, and we know why.
Yeah. Someone says this, JH. So you don't want to expand the target audience for sports cards? I'm for everyone joining in.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's more of like, hey, I think the best content should be promoted, right? It shouldn't be like, hey, because you're of a certain background or gender or
so.
whatever. Do you know
My
what I mean?
question to the comment would be: it's not that I don't want to target sports cards to a larger audience. Sports cards have always been around, and so have women. Where was a one point in time where they didn't have the chance to enter into that market? If they're not interested in that market, they're going to spend their money and navigate towards other interests, and that's totally fine. And the women who do choose to get into the hobby, that's wonderful. Nobody's keeping you from it. I don't think that's a genuine question. It's not about, for me, it's whether the hobby grows or not, the marketplace will dictate that. And as long as the
Exactly.
marketplace is fair for everybody, then it's going to grow, whether it's women, whether it's some other group of person. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it okay? So my question would be, would it be right to pump the hobby to women to like force them to get involved? Because I don't think that would be right.
Yeah. So I was looking at Josh Luber. I think he did an interview with what's his name, Luca Nation, the podcast I've been on, and Luber said that he wants to market to like different audiences to get the most people. So I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna go to basketball games. They're gonna try to uh, use celebrities through their Zero Cool brand. So I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna do more influencer marketing because they think they could reach more people. And obviously they're gonna probably go, with individuals with the large channels. Some of them may be women, some of them may be dudes who don't know what the hell they're talking about, but they could generate, a to get more people in. So I'm thinking, is that what we want? I mean, sure, you get more eyeballs that way, but is that good long term? Maybe short term, I think that's a positive, but is long term? It may not. What do you think about that? Influencer marketing.
I don't know. It all depends on who's going to dance for the right amount of money and who's calling the shots at this point. I'm a
That's
little triggered on that last question. I'm like
You're
stuck on it.
triggered. Oh man.
I'm a little triggered on it a little bit. I'm just going to say it because I just it's not that I don't want the sports market expanded to women. This is the thing. It's sports and it's women. Like, why don't you ask why women aren't buying WNBA tickets? Why don't they buying WNBA cards?
That's an interesting
I'm
question.
not trying to be mean, but it's like this is a real thing. If women don't enjoy sports like men do, I think that's a fair market like outcome. So like if you have a 20,000 person venue and you're only getting 2,000 people to your women's basketball games, and I'm hearing about how women need to be pumped in the hobby, women won't even show up to the WNBA games. Where are the feminists? I'm not to quote Bill Burr, but where are the feminists at? I mean,
It's an
I'm not
interesting
sure.
question.
I don't mean anything bad to the gentleman who asked the question. It's just in my mind, it's hard for me to digest that because I'm sitting there thinking like, no one is gatekeeping women from the sports card hobby. Women aren't even going to watch their own girls play in the WNBA. And you're worried about branching out to women in the hobby? They won't even go watch women play basketball. I don't think it's about gender. I think it's about general interest. And if women aren't interested in sports like that compared to men, you're always going to have this unbalance of like men versus women in the hobby. And I don't think it's not on men to like force women to get into the hobby. Sorry, that I was a little triggered by
Yeah,
that.
that's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to be working with these companies down the road, so they could take this interview and be like, okay,
Well, it's on
uh,
me. It's
yeah,
on me.
yeah.
My name's on it. Don't put
I'm
it
like,
on
okay,
Raul.
yeah, you're not gonna get a job at Fanatics. I could tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. Let's read a few more comments before we head this thing off. Diversified Collectibles says the sports card hobby will sell itself. It always has. The people that are into the stuff gets into it. Hope you find the hobby doesn't find you. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's kind of my point on the women thing. Like, why should the hobby find them? If they want to come into the hobby, I don't think there's anything keeping anybody from getting in the hobby. It's like,
Yeah,
why would it be forced upon? Jordan Peterson talks about a lot of these social construct things with gender and the differences and the free market and where interests generate or where interests end up going.
it's interesting. I saw this one comment about Disney and the pump. I think I was talking about this earlier. We go back to it. Well Connected says curator talking about Disney cards now. Yeah, I did notice that. I think he was talking about Impel first, and then I saw the other day he's buying what 1930s cards. I think it was a different 1930s cards than what I was buying.
I
Will
couldn't
Connected,
care what he's up to. I just don't. I don't care.
you have no Disney cards in your set?
No, no, and I'm
No.
not going to go towards it because of somebody telling me.
I was buying cards during the height of the bubble, like
Mm,
February 2021, March 2021, because no one was touching it. Now I see people are want to buy Disney. It's their right to buy it.
right. Absolutely.
But I'm just saying, I'm not gonna be touching it now. I want to be
Yeah.
selling. I think
Well, the
go
way
ahead.
you explain it very well is like once you see the skepticism and the pullback, that would be the time when your ears perk up in a marketplace setting and you say, "Oh, this should I be buying?"
Right.
And that's I agree based off of, other markets.
Yeah, maybe we should end us on this note. So, influencer marketing, right? Obviously, curator's an influencer, right? Some people may say I'm an influencer. And I don't agree with that, but whatever. I have a platform, right?
Mhm.
So, the Fanatics is probably going to hire guys like him, right? And they are into FOMO. They are into going after the next hottest thing, right? So if Fanatics is able to successfully use influencer marketers, these strange cards, not Stranger Things, but like these cards that no one used to touch, they could go up in value like big time. So
Yeah.
if you just buy weird stuff,
And
things
there's
that no one's talking about, and then Fanatics, maybe gets the license and then maybe works with some of these YouTubers with thousands of subscribers and on Instagram. I'm just thinking like just buy some of these cheap cards and maybe in the anticipation where, hey, if it's pumped up, sell into the hype. That's what I'm
isn't
thinking.
it almost seems like that's how the hobby's almost gravitating to. It almost
Yeah.
seems like it's like find the niche thing and then wait for its flavor of the month cycle, and once it gets and then sell off.
Then you go
I
on to the
mean,
next
I've
thing.
I used to set up at shows and stuff, and I've told all my buddies and even my dad who still sets up. I was like, I got out of it because I'm not. I'm so over that, man. I'm so PC driven, but I like the waves of these like what's trendy in this and like being if you set up at shows, you have to stay up with the marketplace. Like, oh, this is the new hot rookie, this is the new hot thing. You want to sell and have a good setup at your show. I was over that, man. Once I saw how basketball and football is getting and how these pump waves of certain, I just was like, this is not even fun. And like, frankly, this isn't what I want to do in this hobby. Like, I want to have nice cards of got, the stuff I would rather have. So
I mean, that's
It
unfortunately how
almost
the hobby is heading.
it's 100% going that way. It's like baseball is literally that. The baseball card market from what because I got out of it after, the guys I enjoyed started retiring. It's all prospecting. And that's exactly what baseball is. It's like, let me get the guy who nobody's looking at, and if he can pop off, then just sell right away because that's it. And that's like the peak of his market. And like that's not a collector's market. I don't like doing that. I'd rather
Yeah,
just collect cool stuff I
and like,
like.
yeah, maybe the last thing to note is all these guys from PSA. I've noticed saying collector, you got to collect. Here's a good time to collect.
Yeah.
And yeah, like prices may be volatile, but like collect. I'm like, okay. I mean, that would have been good during the,
It
February and March of
yeah, it's
2021.
crazy how people sing a different tune.
Dude, and I'm just thinking, wait, wait, wait. People are talking about collecting now. Ken Golden's burning Fleer 86 wrappers. Like, is a
What
rebound
I know
imminent?
you messaged me about that. I didn't know what to think of that.
Yeah, that was
I didn't
like,
know what to
wait,
think
wait,
of that.
wait. Ken Golden lost his cool? That doesn't usually happen.
Was he burning the packs to like just prove like these aren't going to be this isn't there's no
Rappers,
funny
like,
business like they're
yeah,
not going to be
exactly. Like, I'm
repackaged.
not repacking. That's what he tried to say
It,
because
it
people
it
were
is a
saying
desperate. It does seem like really desperate to be doing something like that, but at the same time, like
he
given
must have
everything
been
that's been
pissed.
going on, he must have felt that like I'm just going to prove it to everybody on alive. Like here, I'm burning them up. These will never get resealed. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So it looks weird, but in the same way, maybe he did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, he is taking off some cards that are fakes and refunding people. There's this one story I saw in card porn of these, what, 90s cards from that were slabbed in a Beckett or that were slabbed in Beckett. And the guy from PWCC noticed that they probably are fake. Did you see
Hmm.
that story on card porn?
Mm-mm.
Maybe I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see that because I'll dive
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah. I'll send you that. But yeah,
It's
it's a
so
lot of
hard to stay
fake.
up on all this stuff
Yeah, like
anymore.
a lot of scams are happening. Maybe I should do a video on that. Why are all these things blowing up now? Because they can't make easy money.
It's got to be, and maybe it could be clicks too. It's like, well, the market's not going well. How can we still generate clicks and feedback and this and that? It's like, well, let's talk about the drama now. When for a long time it was like, don't talk about any of the bad stuff, just talk good stuff. Now it's
So
like, I don't know. It's like flavor of the month, man. Everybody's doing their dance.
yeah. All right, man. I think I'm gonna wrap it up now. Maybe I'll do more of these videos on Saturday night as Jeremy Lee doesn't do his spot anymore. So
It sounds like you should take it over.
yeah, I should take
It
it
is
over.
your domain.
It's my own domain, and then
Let's
anyone wants to mess with me, well, they could
Saturday
start
night.
YouTube drama and get more views, right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'll watch whether it's me or not. I'm always watching.
There you go. All right, Steve. Where can people find you again?
Um, I'm on Instagram. It's at Splenda Sports Cards, and you can look at my reels. You can look at my PC pictures, and that's about it, man. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to collect and show off my collection. It's about the cards for me. But I appreciate you, Raul, for having me on. It's always a good time, brother.
Yeah, for sure, man. Talk to you later.
Sounds good, bro.